it is showtime on another NIOH skill tree guide video. The last weapon video for this series. Whew, it has been a time and a half trying to grind all these weapons out. First one up, it's going to be, well, the last one up, sorry, is going to be the fists. What I personally consider to be, honestly, I think they're the best weapon in the game for Kai damage. Fists are an incredible weapon. Let's get into why exactly. So, fists have a really strange stat spread. While some weapons do have something similar, specifically Odachi has somewhat of a similar stat spread, the fists scale with heart, strength, and dexterity, primarily on strength. They have a B+ in strength, which is very high. Very good. Very good. Like most weapons, their primary stats a B+. I have my fists here as a A- in heart, and you'll soon find out why. Fists are a really weird weapon type, right? They completely change how you play the game as a whole, right? Completely. There is no difference with playing with the fists and playing a fighting game. You turn into a fighting game character with the fists. It is insane. Something I always recommend on fist weapons is that you take melee attack Kai consumption. This is really important because Kai is going to be the main thing you're fighting against when you use the fists. The fists overall are an incredible weapon, and I suggest you spec into heart and then use a chassis to make them scale into heart, because their damage is somewhat lacking. Fist damage is somewhat lacking. They have pretty much the same break and guard as a sword. Like, you'll see a base sword, where is one? That's an Odachi. See, they have similar stats for what they scale with. But you'll see that they have very similar stats to a sword. They have very similar guard and break stats to a sword. This one's a little bit higher because it's been upgraded, but they match a sword in that case. Dual swords, they have usually have a little bit less block though. Keep in mind, this is a divine weapon +1, and this is just a legendary. So their block isn't the greatest, but you're not going to be blocking with these things anyways. They're a complete defense-destroying monster. They are a massive offensive weapon. So something to note as well, my character is not exactly set up for fists right now, as I've kind of been doing a lot of magic to grind out magical skills a lot more. But dexterity, if you scale this with heart, still is a D+, which is not bad. Although this isn't the greatest weapon for ninjas, surprisingly, because most ninjas do not have very high heart. But let's get into the dodges. You got your normal rolls. Dash and then a roll on mid stance, and then your dash is on low. Simple as that. Okay, let's get into the attack combos. These are insane. I'm not going to do any combo enders. We'll get to why combo enders are important for these in a bit. Just going to do normal combo. That's it. That's the high stance combo. As you can see, that has the same properties. That has the same exact properties as the low stance on the sword, where the combo will repeat itself, and it has barely any reset time, if any at all. It's just 1, 2, 3 attacks. Keep in mind, those attacks will usually break the horns of yokai almost immediately. 2, even the kick will aim for them. See, you already see the issue with the fist, don't you? They're difficult to use like this. You need to kind of use combo enders, and you need to combo things. Fists are all about the combo potential of the weapon overall. Now, I will give you a bit of a warning here. Early on, fists are actually kind of hard to use, especially when you don't have like the advanced skills yet. Early on, fists are very hard to use. Very hard to use indeed. I say obliterating him with a storm of punches. But I'm serious. They're very hard to use early game, so they're more of a mid-game weapon, but even still, it's still nice to finally let your yokai side run free and strike people with your hands, you know? But, that aside, the heavy attack is a flip kick. This will strike the horns of yokai, as you would think. This pretty much immediately breaks them as well. Usually, if they're standing straight, it's usually going to break them. It's usually always going to break them. Yokai are very vulnerable. Fists are also really good at applying status effects, but not quite as good as something like the split staff. Surprisingly enough, the split staff and the fist actually share a unique ability, that being the elemental damage increase with their skill tree. However, the fists do not benefit anywhere near as much than the split staff does. The split staff is an amazing Omeo Mage weapon because of that. However, the fists, with their skill tree, which I'll get into in a second, is not orientated to Omeo Mage builds too much. So, next up, mid stance. It's 2 punches with same button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or just technically it's 1, 2, 3. It's only 3 attacks, but there are, I believe, 4 hitboxes there. First 2, second, third, and then you can repeat the combo as if it was a low stance for most other weapons. The first 2 attacks will usually hit low and won't usually hit the horns of yokai. The third attack, however, will sometimes hit horns of yokai. It also does a lot of kai damage. That was 1 combo. He's already out. It's seriously like that. This weapon is that broken. I would suggest if you really want to play NIOH as quickly as possible, as with the most aggression you possibly ever can, play with the fists. Next up, we have their heavy. It's 2 attacks. 1, 2. These cannot be repeated directly after, as there is a little bit of an animation he does, like Bruce Lee-esque animation. As you see, this has a long reach to it. That's the thing I should note about this. That clears these pillars. Not like that. Horizontally, it clears the pillars. And then some. If you let him do his full animation, he will kind of back up a little bit. But you can kind of roll out of it immediately. You can't strike out of it immediately, though. He has to do his first 2 hops first. And then you can strike out of it. Keep that in mind. Alright, next up is the low stance. This is Berserk. As you can see, he holds his hands like he's Orochimaru. And he goes absolutely crazy. Let me do the light combo. That's 2 attacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it repeats infinitely. The full combo is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically, that's a second strike right there, but it looks the same as the first animation. And once again, the fists have like a 3-hit combo kind of thing going on, right? Or even in the mid stance, 1, 2, 3. That's the first 3 attacks. Low stance, 1, 2, 3. High stance, 1, 2, 3. But the thing is, all of them have the same properties as low attacks with any other weapon where they can be repeated. You're starting to see the fists now, aren't you? They're a combo tool, an insane one. Low stance heavy attack is 2 sweeping kicks, 2 up kicks with 2 sweeping kicks afterwards. He breaks into a breakdance maneuver there. This is a meme weapon. Okay. Before anything, I want to address something someone in the comments section said on one of my videos with the fists, is that they don't have good damage. That is true. That is absolutely true. The fists do not have good damage. That is the issue. Keep in mind, this is a divine +1 weapon and my heart is 99. It has an A- in scaling for heart. Sure, this isn't an optimal weapon, but this is a new game plus weapon. And the damage is only 1,382. Keep in mind, my club My club has more damage than that, and I have no good stats for it. And it only has a +2 higher divine stat. Oh, the familiarity is low, yes. Clubs normally have way more damage. And it still has more damage than these fists. That's because the fists rely on their skill tree for damage. Let me show you. They use this thing. Unbroken. Unbroken is an insane stat that the fists have. This has to be the strongest ability in the entire game, hands down. Omeo Magic is strong. Yes, Omeo Magic is reasonably strong. But this is insane. What this allows you to do is use combo enders. Something like this. Or this. Or something like this, knife hand. To do more damage. Let me show you. I'll get a buff in the corner, similar to the Switchglave's ability to do more damage based on how many times you've switched it. Let me show you. The master ability from the Switchglaive specifically. So, little combo, first combo. See that buff in the corner I just got? It's got a 1 next to it. My combo is 1, 2, 3. See? It's pretty good. Every time that buff goes up, I'm doing a little bit more damage. 5, 6, and so on and so forth. Even in high stance this works. And every time you either Kai Pulse or recover Kai through any means, usually Kai Pulsing, the combo is extended. Every time you land an active skill, that's a really big part of this. Every time you land an active skill, it will increase the combo. What are active skills? Active skills are things that you can activate from the skill tree that are not part of the base combo. This includes guard presses, like this. Guard presses like this will increase your combo. Watch and learn. 1. Beyond infinity. Alright, his horns are broken. And this will increase your combo right here. Guard press. See how it went back up? It's very hard to tell because the thing is, active skills, the only ones that increase your combo's damage are things like combo enders, or comboing a combo ender into an active skill like this. That's the wrong one. That. Right there. That's it. That's what you gotta do with the fists. They're incredibly powerful because of their extreme speed and damage you can get, but unlike every other weapon in the entire game, you actually have to pay attention to what the fuck you're doing. Most other weapons in the game have a gimmick which allows you to fight almost in this ultra instinct kind of state, right? You don't have to really focus what you're doing because the weapon itself does good damage. You kind of have memorized the abilities thus far, and you... how do I say this? You've memorized their abilities, and now you know what to do. You know what buttons do what, and you kind of adapt to the situation as a whole. But with the fists are a very thinking man's kind of weapon. You need to actually think about what combo you're going to go into at what time, because not all of them are good. Against a yokai like this, heavy stance is the best. Just because of how quickly you're going to end it. 2, 3, 4. There you go. The fists kill it. The fists really do kill it. Mid stance is good for humanoids because you actually have a deflection attack, which I'll go over later. Hello. As you can see, his Kai is just drained by me doing this. You know what else I can do? This. The fists actively reward you. Actively reward you for doing this. The fists actively reward you for doing this shit. It's amazing. Combos with the fists are great. That's why Unbound has to be the most powerful ability in the game. Let's get into the mastery skills. So, the mastery skills are both very strong, and I'll go over the utilities for both of them. First one up is Unbound. This one is kind of complex to use. Reduces your Kai consumption as you connect skills while the enemy is aware of you. This is actually really good. Kai consumption is your main enemy with fist skills. That and the Dark Realm, which eliminates some of your Kai consumption. I would honestly suggest you have good courage with the fists as well, because your Kai regen is very important. Okay, see, you can probably see what I'm getting at here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another thing, you're probably wondering how I'm doing that. Unbound doesn't just allow you to combo active skills together. It also allows you to combo kinda anything together, including basic attacks. How long can you survive for? Not too long. Including basic attacks. So, while I was fighting that Oni, you probably did see the fact that my Kai drained at an accelerated rate. Hell, even if I just do this combo right here. Yeah, it's a pretty big combo. That's an active skill thrown in there as well. Unless I Kai Pulse, I lose most of my Kai. So, there's an issue. Your Kai is not sustainable, but with this, your Kai can be sustainable so long as you continue to hit your active skills and you don't fuck up. It can be pretty good. Next up is Gong. Active skill activates when you recover full Kai from a Kai pulse. Further extends the duration of unbroken skill. Okay. This one isn't too useful, but it's good for sustainable damage. If I fight... Man, this guy is just getting ripped apart today. If I fight this guy, you know, and I'm in a bad situation. I overextend into his guard like this, and I have to retreat. If I Kai Pulse like I just did, and I get a full Kai Pulse from it... Sorry about that, it feels really good to use that skill. I'll get into that later. Oh man, I love the fists. They might be my favorite weapon overall. Maybe. Beyond Infinity is just really fun to play with. I get such a rush when I use it. But what that'll do is when I Kai Pulse like that off of a combo, it will greatly extend the duration of my combo, so Unbroken will go away much slower. This is okay. I would use Unbound, but if you want sustainable damage, this is also good. Alright. Let's get on to Limitless. So, they're kind of segregated a little bit because there's a lot of Omni skills for the fist. We'll get into it later. So, Limitless. Limitless is a high stance only, I believe. High stance only. Ooh. Here we go. High stance only square guard press. You charge up you charge up an attack. Keep in mind, I let that button go a long time ago. You have to fully charge this. You may also see the wording there. It gets rid of all your Kai. Completely. Just drains you. However, in exchange for this... Yeah, you don't get hyper armor as well. You don't get hyper armor. In exchange for this... You get that. And you start immediately regenerating Kai directly after it is done. The issue with this skill is, first of all, it takes all your Kai. So unless you have something like a barrier talisman up, like this from the Omeo Mage skill tree. There we go. Or your enemy is in this kind of state. Keep in mind, even with that barrier talisman, that just stops me from taking damage. It doesn't give me armor. I'll still get hit out of this. If you have like a steel talisman, you'll take less damage when you get hit out of it. But in exchange, That's good damage. The Zuno drop. That's not the normal grab, that's the secret skill I'll show later. That's a lot of damage. This is pretty much useless though. There is one situation, however, that this can be useful, and it's a blessing that this is in high stance because of it. Yokais that are out of Kai. And in a weakened state, I would suggest using Fuki's Soul Core to get them like this. If you do this, that's a lot of damage, as Phil Swift would say. That is a lot of damage. That's a lot more damage than you would normally get off of just final blowing them on the ground with the sword. But, as you can see there, it's very hard to hit Limitless. Also really hurts your pressure, you kinda gotta be careful. It doesn't stun them as well, it's just a smack. It doesn't stun them too hard. It's really good against certain bosses if you can land it, like the Umiboza. If you're really close to the Umiboza and you have fire on your fists, he's low on Kai. If you land this, he's gonna feel the pain. But other than that, there's no real use for this skill, and plus it takes up a very good spot. Beyond Infinity is one of the better skills in the entire skill tree, just because of how powerful it can be and how quick it can come out. As you can see there, I can't even fully master it myself. So I wouldn't pick up Limitless unless you just want what's behind it, which sadly enough is Restless. So in my skill tree, in my recommended skill tree, I will usually pick up Limitless. Alright, next up. One that I don't use too often. It's a low stance only, and it is really strange. Ocean Cipher, I believe is how we pronounce that. No, we don't have it equipped. Okay. So, this thing is really strange. Let me say that outright. It is an evasion skill. And it's based on your input direction. It's basically like a roll. It just does damage. There's a lot of iframes there, keep in mind. That's actually a lot of iframes. See? That's a good bit of iframes. But you can still get hit in the middle of it. It's not like it does any damage, right? And you can still get hit. But this thing does have a crazy, weird property. Hold on, let me eliminate him. Alright. This thing does have a crazy, weird property that you would never expect from some skill like this, right? Okay, so what's this skill good for? This has a really, really weird property. The iframes this gives you are recoverable. Oopsies, I accidentally expanded all my Kai. The iframes this gives you are actually recoverable. What do I mean by that? You can recover almost immediately out of it. And you can immediately do this again. These weird backflips. Now this is not too useful except for avoiding certain attacks, like laser beams on some giant temple bosses. And most of all, surprisingly, environmental hazards. Let's say there was this stream was a fire on a map, right? I could just do this and backflip through it, and I would take less damage than I would normally. Now, it's still not good to use. This thing does have potential for evading attacks, yes, but your dodge and low stance anyways is so powerful. It's kind of useless. However, you do need this to get the safety drops abilities and your standing attack. Unfortunately. Now against a human it's a bit more useful. You can kind of get around him a bit better. But then again, why not just actually dodge him? Oopsies. Oopsies. Bam. Bam. So why not actually dodge him instead of using this? I can't think of anything. Maybe if it like hit the enemy it would be better, but honestly, not very good. Knife Hand is pretty much required for good combos. It's an Omni skill. There it is. It's really fast, it comes out really quick, and it's good for combos. I usually keep it in low stance, but usually I'll put it on just about everything. I would suggest picking this shit up. Also, if you want 7-star kata, you can get that here as well. You have to pick up Knife Stance. Or Knife Strike. Knife Hand Strike. Reckless Charge isn't the best. It has like a little follow-up. Right here. There's 2 follow-ups to it, actually. I believe I have it on this. Yes, there's 2 little follow-ups you can do there. It can be pretty good, especially against humans. See how much Kai it took from him? Puts him in the down state. We are behind him and final blows him from a combo. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Reckless Charge is okay. It's Dread Slayer is okay as well. Kick Cyclone is alright, I suppose. This is an active skill that you can combo off of pretty well. Allow me to show you. See, it's an active skill we can combo, increase our combo with. Simple as that. This is alright. I'd pick it up. It's pretty good. It is pretty good. It's good for mid stance and a little bit for high stance. But we'll get to that later. We'll get to my personal skill tree later. A lot of these are very hard to find because of Unbroken and how weird it is with some of these. Next up is Opportunist. Punch the enemy. Punch him harder. 1-inch punch style. It's a counter attack that's only for mid stance. This is okay. The counter attacks on the fists can really save you if you need them to. If you need this to save you, it will save you, right? Because you can just be like, whoop. I missed that because I'm used to the other timing. Because you can pretty easily stop someone with this. Keep in mind, if you don't press that other button press, it will just stop them dead. And it's not as wide as you think it is. He puts his hand up, but it needs to be on the first few frames. I believe that's 6 active frames. Yeah, it's about 6 active frames. Because it's very sticklerish about how it gives you the deflection. So, yeah. As far as the combo goes itself and what it's used for. Come on. You can stop it dead. You can combo off of the punch directly afterwards. Or, as you saw there in the skill tree, where is it? There it is. After attacking an enemy, you can then attack them twice. Timing is perfect. Timing this perfectly increase the force of your strike. You can hit them a second time. Okay. This is really weird. Let's go over this. So, this is a second attack that's part of this. See? See the strange part about this? It's actually hard to do the move simply because of how much combo potential it is. There you go. Simply because of how much combo potential the fists have. You're always going to want to go into something else unless you want to do Kai damage to an opponent. Because Opportunist actually has good Kai damage. See? It has really good Kai damage. But why not just, like, do Opportunist like this? I said do Opportunist like this, and then just go into your normal combo. You're going to do so much more damage to them like that anyways, and you can start a big combo. Unless you're trying to use Opportunist to finish an enemy off, that would be good. Let's say, you know, he's in this desperate state right now. One, whoop! If he didn't constantly spam that attack. God damn, I hate grab attacks. 1, 2. It's good for finishing an enemy off, because it does about 1,000 damage, even with the low damage my gauntlets actually do. So if you want to counterattack, Opportunist can be your thing. If you don't, you don't have to pick it up. But unfortunately, Full Moon Kata, you need to pick up both Opportunist and Takedown, which are both the sole counterattacks for this. So yeah, next up is Spinning Kick. I've already showed this off to you once. It's 2 quick spins. You can constantly spam this as well. It barely has any cooldown time to it. It's a nice roundhouse kick. Yeah. It fills the same purpose that Cyclone Kick does, but it's a little bit faster, and it's an Omni stance. It actually has some use to it, right? It has a little bit of use to it. Specifically in situations like that, where you finish off a combo, you can then follow it up for a little bit extra Kai damage if an enemy is low, but it doesn't have much other use than that, except for, like, mid-combo. Jesus. Forgot he actually gained super armor during that. I so rarely see that attack in actual gameplay. It's okay. It doesn't do too much damage, but it's quick to come out, so it gets by. Archer's Impact, as well as its follow-up skill, which is one of the secret skills, Tiger's Claw. Let me tell you something really weird about this. I actually have to equip a different set of gauntlets to do this properly. Why, you may ask? Because these gauntlets are not considered claws, they're actually demon fists. I need claws to do this properly. Because this is one of the only skills in the game like this. Only usable when a claw fist weapon is equipped. So, let's go over Archer's Impact. Archer's Impact is a triangle hold for the mid and low stance. And that is Tiger's Claw right there. It's a quick thrusting attack that does good Kai damage. I usually keep it on low stance because of the mobility you get from it. Good Kai damage. It comes out quick, goes farther than you think it does. Tiger's Claw is 3 attacks. See? 1, 2, 3, and then you can combo off of it from there. In low stance, these are very powerful together. Just because of the combo potential of low stance, and if you have Knife Hand on there as well, you can get a lot of combos out very quickly. What the fuck is he doing there? It's a really weird pose. I never noticed he opens its hands. I thought he just brings his hands back up. But yeah, Tiger's Claw. It's alright. Next up is Stomp. This actually has some utility to it. Stomp actually has a little bit of utility to it. It's a proper attack. It does damage, but not in the same way other attacks do. It actually increases your next active skill strength. There is a little bit of a combo you can do, which I will teach you now. If you have Stomp, like this, that's the duration right there. Keep in mind, it does actually do damage. It's a proper attack, like I said, but it does about 90 damage or so. But instead, what you can do, because of how active skills work, is you can immediately go into Limitless. And Limitless will do more damage. It's a full moon sort of meditation-esque combo. But there's a better idea. Just go beyond infinity, because it counts as one active skill. And now this does more damage. It's a massive flurry of blows. Pretty good. Stomp is not very useful. itself. Those are the only uses, the really good uses for it. Now, a really skilled player can get a lot of damage off of Stomp, but I wouldn't use it. You need this to pick up Reckless Charge and Dread Slayer. Next up is Flying Fist. This one is really weird. It's a low stance only. It's your normal up kick attack you can do on most weapons. And you can kick off the opponent for more distance. You know what? This is actually somewhat good, especially if this is mid-combo as a reactive tool, right? Let's say, you know, I'm hitting this Oni. Pretty good as a reactive tool. Good damage, throws me up in the air. Well, let's say he gets the upper hand. Whoop, I'm out of there. If I'm in a Yokai Realm portal, I can whoop, and then push out, and I can try and go back in if I really feel like it's good. Now, as you see there, I wanted to try and demonstrate him just hitting me, not just grabbing me, but whatever. It's not going to keep you safe from everything, and in situations like that, it can screw you over into a bigger combo because you retreat, but it has a lot of distance to it, so keep that in mind. You do need to directly connect with the enemy to do it. Like so. Whoopsies. Whoop. Like so. You can get back, but you do need direct connection, at least with the enemy's hitbox. Now, you can push off of like their side and do no damage, but this is kind of useless for that. It's good as a combo, like combo extender though, in a weird way. Because as soon as you get out, you can go back in, and by that time you will have recovered at least High Pulse if you could. So you can push off Kai Pulse and then go back in with your Kai Pulse ability. It's okay. I wouldn't suggest picking it up unless you want that extra mobility. Keep in mind, you can just completely ignore the kick and just stand here. Which can be good. Alright. Next up. Probably the best skill in the skill tree for versatility. It is a little bit odd, though, and you need to unlock that for Wolf's Claw. Bow, as I call it. This is a really powerful skill, thanks to its secondary strike. It's an elbow strike that's followed up by a kick, and it's a combo ender for mid and low stance, which makes it pretty quick. There we are. It has a unique ability, however. 2, 3. Oopsies. There you go. It juts the enemy a lot further. It juts the enemy a lot further than you would think it would. That throws enemies backwards really hard and is a good combo ender. Now there is another combo ender that we'll get to later. It's a little bit better, but this is really powerful. It's one of the best skills in the entire skill tree simply because of how far it throws them back and how much distance you can get on this. If you put this in your low stance instead of knife hand and then do like your jumping attack off of someone. So, you know, I go in here, I normally use that, and then I can get my jumping attack off of them and then go back in for another combo. That would be pretty powerful. Oop, oop, oop. And then we kill him with our yokai. That's pretty strong, but all in all, it's pretty good, especially because of how far it juts an enemy back, and that will hit the horns of yokai consistently. Next up is one I don't use too often. It's a very long, probably the longest in the game, combo ender. Let me explain. First, let me stretch. Oh boy. So, Fist of Reckoning is a high stance only combo ender that has some weird abilities. First of all, normally, it's just an uppercut. Pretty good. Pretty solid. But you could extend how long this goes on for So long, sorry about the dog barking in the background. So long as you have Kai for it. So long as you have Kai for it, you can extend the duration of this. God damn. Hold on, give me 1 second. Sorry about the annoyance. I'll probably just cut that out. If not, then you know I will say something very important right now. This skill is okay. Seriously, it's okay. It's actually pretty good for its initial purpose, right? Comboing this skill like this is pretty good. It's actually pretty good. The initial uppercut is very powerful. The additional strikes you can do with it aren't actually very good because they defeat the purpose of the unbroken skill. It's actually kind of bad because of that. Its initial, like, uppercut is kind of what you want to use it for. Especially because directly afterwards you can then do a kickflip. Which is good. You can do the heavy attack directly afterwards for the heavy stance. But honestly, extending it is not what you want to do with this skill unless the opponent is low on Kai. And you can just constantly hit them. But I have a better idea. Just use Beyond Infinity. Just use this. Just use this. It's so much better. It's so much better. Just use this instead of just repeating this combo over and over again. There you go. Instead of just extending this, just use it as its initial tool. Don't hold it. Takedown 1, 2, and 3 I've already showed you, but I'll show you again. It's a deflection skill. Your second deflection skill you can use. And what it does is pretty simple. It's a deflection skill that has more damage if they're low on Kai. Initially it does this, and you strike them in the back. If the opponent is low on Kai when they do this, come on. Hit me. Stop thinking about it and just do it. Come on. Come on. No. See what I gotta deal with. These paid actors. So dramatic. But, there we go. If the opponent is low on Kai when you do it, you're able to grapple them and throw them to the ground. You cannot do a final blow because they'll usually get up a little bit too fast. But it does put you in an advantageous spot, so takedown can be pretty good. Next one up is a weird one. It's a Kai Pulse attack. It's pretty simple. You strike in that direction. This is good for, well, combos, simply because this counts as an active skill. I would pick this up almost no matter what. See, it counts as an active skill, so you can do like crazy combo like this. High pulse, kind of get out of there, like I did there. Or you can do like an actual like aggressive combo. Let's say, you know, you're up in his face like this. You just took an attack to the face. You can kind of high pulse, roll backwards, and then get ready for another combo. It's pretty good. Keep in mind, it does also increase your combo skill to it, but there is a caveat to that. As you see there, it's actually somewhat hard to pull off mid-combo. And it doesn't clear yokai realm portals effectively. Now, don't get me wrong, this is really good to just add a quick punch in there, especially if you are really low on Kai and you need a Kai pulse, but you want to continue up increasing your combo. It can be pretty good. But, I'd throw it into a build. I'd throw it into a build just for that little extra utility, because it only costs 1 point, and you can get cornered boar through it, right? So, yeah. Next up is Battering Ram. In my opinion, the best skill. Battering Ram is a heavy combo ender. That is also a grab attack. It's very good because it's a grab attack, and it can reset your pressure and reset your Kai. Like that. Even if it doesn't grab them, It's still pretty good. It's still pretty good, because even if that doesn't grab them and it just hits them, it's similar to elbow. In fact, they have very similar hitboxes as well, except for battering ram is a little bit higher. If you hit the grab like this, it'll do about 1,500 damage with my fists. Hell, you can even like get a final blow off of that, wait for the enemy to get up and just hit them with it. It'll do about 100 or so damage if you hit them normally, but it'll do significant Kai damage, especially if they're guarding. Especially if they're guarding. I would pick up battering ram. It's pretty good as like a big combo ender to reset your pressure. Defensive drop 1 and 2 are hold skills, or button press skills, and this, well, this is your getting up maneuver. This is your grounded maneuver. Let me show you what this does. So this is a really weird one. I usually use this in the low stance. Oopsies. I usually use this. Oopsies. Not the low stance. My apologies. I usually use this in combination with battering ram after a combo. This is a really hard skill to explain thanks to its really weird effects. I usually use this in low stance, like I said earlier, and it's technically both an attack and a counter attack. What you can do is you can throw yourself to the ground. While you're down here, you can actually press your normal button to get up, and you'll do, if you have the skill unlocked, you'll do your whole, like, you know, thing. You'll get to do your recovery attack, which can be pretty good. But the thing is, as you can see in the abilities here, it's actually a counterattack. If an enemy strikes you in that, you'll grab them for a lot of damage. Hell, even if that's not the case, you can still do it, and then you can do it kind of off of combos. The defensive drop 2 kind of gives you that really weird ability. I don't know why you would want this. It's really weird. It's so strange. Like, I don't know why you would kind of want that. You can, like, transition into defensive drop with it, as you saw there. And then you can do, like, another maneuver to kind of do your thing. Or you can kind of do this and then move forwards with it for your, like, spinning attack. You can become a bullet. The thing is, defensive drop is naturally a counter attack, so I don't know why you would want that unless you want to do some really crazy grounded combos. And keep in mind, you can't get a final blow off on this. It's a really weird skill, but it makes you very safe because you're on the ground. Now, you aren't safe from everything, as you saw there. Some combos can still hit you. But, hey, you've got a lot more utility than you should normally. Also, this is very good for really bad archer situations. Let's say, you know, okay, let me give you an example. First, let me kill this guy. Hey, he's still alive. Not anymore. That was a headshot, too. Let's say there's an archer on top of that rooftop right there. Oh, shit. You can just, whoop, hug this fence. Now that archer probably can't get you, and you're stuck in a fence. Resist the urge. Oh my god. I forgot that happens if you do this. You can just kind of sit here and that archer can't get you, and you can kind of just look around because you're so well defended. Oh, the controller's dying. You're so well defended where you're like this that you can just kind of look around and eventually get up after you've gotten your bearings and a good look of the situation, and fuck, you can just charge people with this afterwards. Because you've got a good look of the situation. That means you have the information you need to select your target. After that, you can kind of just go in. It gives you a lot of safety that a lot of other skills do not give you. But the thing is, it's just so hard and strange and unintuitive to use, sorry about the tapping noise, that most people don't use it. Let me take a drink of water real quick and we'll get into the next skill. Okay. So, defensive drop is one of the weirdest skills in the entire game, simply because it has so much utility for getting your hitbox that low to the ground. Ooh, step shifter. I'm stuck. Yes. So, that's really the only use of defensive drop. It's not very good as a countering skill unless you're fighting humans. But hey, it can be really good for a combo starter and a combo ender. Especially with defensive drop too, since you can transition into it. And then out of it. Okay, let's go with Iron Grip. Iron Grip actually isn't very good. Simply because there are better options. Well, not on this button press, but there are better options. Why are you doing heavy attacks in your low stance? Let me show you. It's a heavy attack combo ender. Oh. It pulls the enemy around. Now, tapping. Now, let me say real quick, this actually can be good in certain scenarios. Let me give you an example. See that attack you just did? I hate that attack. I'm sure you do too. Hello. I'm sure you hate that attack too. It's annoying. It's an annoying, irritating attack. With that, you can kind of almost punch-out style. Almost if you were playing like an old punch-out game. You can manipulate their move timer based on that, right? As you can see, right after I did that, he did a series of attacks instead of trying to do that grapple attack again. It's difficult, but you can force them to be a little bit more offensive than they would normally be. You can also, if you have good timing, I mean really good timing, you can force them to get out of combos with that. So let's say, you know, he's in the middle of this combo right here. I can come to the right of him and do that and pull him. And now he's probably going to do a heavy combo. I don't like him doing heavy combos, so I kick him, throw him to the ground, final blow him. And as soon as he gets up, I reset him. Now, his combos are reset. And you can pull him out of grapple maneuvers like that as well. It's good for utility. Hello, Kage. How are you doing, kitty cat? It's good for utility, and it's good in fringe situations if you just want to pull a human out of a grapple attack. But that's it. It's not very good. I wouldn't pick it up. Unless you just really, really want it. And once past it, because Passage to the Afterlife is actually right after it. Next up is Beyond Infinity. I've showed you this a good few times. We're actually getting to the secret skills now. This video is almost over. Sorry about that interruption in the middle. You know how chorkies are. Beyond Infinity. This is really powerful. I still can't do it properly myself, but with proper timing, you can extend this combo even further and make it go faster. Also, that is a very long button press. Keep in mind, I tapped that button once and he did that many attacks. Holding it down doesn't do anything. You actually need to press it again. Now, there is very specific timing in here for this particular combo. There we go. I got one right there. The more you hit that timing, the more it'll go. The faster it'll go. This is very good on bosses who are out of Kai, such as Gozuki or Mizuki, something along those lines. It can be very, very, very powerful. But that's it. It's only good for that, because you are so vulnerable. Because keep in mind, you have super armor, which means an enemy will just shred you. Izuna drop? I don't think I need to show you that. Wolf Claw is next up. Wolf Claw is probably the most useful skill. It's used as a combo ender mostly. It's hard to combo out of. But it's really good. It gives you Anima back. It gives you Anima. So you, say you, boom, big ability. They're out of Kai. You can bang, and you get a lot of Amita back. And then, whoop, and then boom. So long as you hit the first attack, you will get your Amita. Even if they block it, you'll get it. Which is very, very good. Allow me to show you the normal grapple. No, not your grapple. My grapple. It does about 200 damage and about 500 on the second hit, but that Amita That's good, man. That is a really good skill to have. Let me show you the normal grapple. Oh, a bit brave today. Come on. Come on. That's right. Oh, hello, Kage. How are you doing? Sorry, I have a lot of animals in my house. I'm usually very alone. They help me stay sane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, there we go. He should be doing it now. Yes. This is the normal grapple. Pretty quick, does a lot of damage. I prefer Izuna drop myself. And that was Wolfclaw. This has been a very comprehensive guide, I feel. Now let's talk about the special ones. This has the exact same special setup as the staff. Additional damage, additional elemental damage, additional damage to people out of Kai. Same setup. Okay, let's wrap this video up with the secret skill locations and, well, my suggested skill tree. This is gonna take a while. My suggested skill tree is complex. Let me say outright, you don't have to follow this skill tree one-to-one, honestly. You don't have to. This is just what I personally use, and what I personally like to use with my skills. But the fists are such a weird weapon, and how you have to use them, and they're very complex that, honestly, do whatever feels good to you. I'd pick this up immediately, as well as this simply for Reckless, because Kai is so important. Pick this up. You can pick up some of the counterattacks if you want to. I am not. You can pick this up if you want like a combo ender for your mid and low. Take this. Take this, because that's going to be our main combo ender. Simply because of how fast it is. Stomp can be good, and what's past Stomp is not very powerful. So we're gonna pick Beyond Infinity for its utility when using yokai. When used against yokai with no Kai. Now, Kick Cyclone can be pretty good, and Spinning Kick as well, but I'll pick them up simply for having a hold weapon, a hold maneuver that we can use properly. We're gonna pick Unbound for our ability, which means we do gotta pick up Stomp. We're gonna pick up Unbound not only because you get the melee mastery, which is useless, yes, but it still does damage. If you don't want anything else, you can put it into that. But we want to use this simply for the Kai damage, or the Kai reduction. And then Opportunist can be good. We're not gonna pick it though. We've already got our combo ender for that, which is gonna be Knife Hand. This can be good. We'll take this. Defensive drop level 1 and 2. We'll actually get our raise attack as well here, which is rare for us. We usually don't get that. Wolfclaw can be good. We'll pick it up simply because of its utility. And then, honestly, from here, you want to kind of pick up Passage to the Afterlife, Shadow Strike, and then it's kind of up to you if you have points left. Takedown, because you need to pick it up, can be good. But honestly, you have so many things to exploit low Kai enemies anyways. You don't really need it. Something like Slayer can be good, but at this point, you can pick up the other skill if you want versatility. But I personally am going to make a very controversial decision here. I'm going to pick this up for my low stance, simply because of the utility it can give you from a distance. And then from here, you can pick up 5 Dragon Kata if you're an Omeo Mage. It's not going to be useful on the fist too much because of how they scale, but you can use it. Corner Tiger can also be good. Full Moon Kata can also be very good. But this is the hard one because we've already got our base. Indomitable Spirit is honestly what I would pick up. And then from there, we'll just get like this. simply because Kai is very important, and with Last Gambit it can be pretty strong. And since you want to use ninjutsu with this, Last Gambit is kind of what you want. Alright, let's get into the secret skills now. Both secret skills from this specific weapon come from one person. Ren Hayabusa. In the second DLC, Darkness in the Capital, after completing the main missions, you will get this quest, the Dragon Clan, where you will fight Ren Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden series. If you don't know, these games share the same universe. I know it's crazy, but just go with it. Apply your boss right now, because he will jump out of the forehead of that statue as soon as you step forwards. He does, not quite as soon as you step forwards, he does say like a little bit of a line. We'll get to that in a second, though. And now. Now, he does have a good few attacks. You want the Wind Talisman, because he will just constantly throw shit at you. He has those, which we'll get to in a bit on a different skill tree guide for the ninjutsu skills. He's kind of lacking in Kai, and he's very frustrating to deal with sometimes. He's elusive, he has grab maneuvers. You kind of want to oppress his Kai more than anything. Yeah, as you can see, he is very difficult to fight because he is a bastard and a half to press and do proper damage to. Honestly, I usually just use the sword against him. Hell, I even failed right there because I'm not really prepared to fight this guy with the fist. This is not a fist build at all. Really, if I really wanted to beat him, you gotta use the sword. You gotta use your best weapon. This is a very difficult boss fight. I would call this one of the hardest boss fights in the entire game. You gotta use your best weapon. Some cheese track tactics is Archer's Impact is pretty good, but I'm gonna be using our sword for the concern of time. Now, something to note, if you hit him mid-air, he will actually be open up for a final blow, but he is still very fucking annoying. He is irritating to fight just because of how quick he is and how rapid he is. He does have a grab attack that is not. Whoop. Yeah, that's why you put that Wind Talisman on. So he will throw shit at you. There we go. And then we can get a drop attack on him. We can then combo into this. A little bit of that. He is very resistant to all elements. He's probably the hardest boss. The hardest humanoid boss in the game. No doubt. Something that does cheese him a little bit is True and Through. Specifically because it can hit through his ninjutsus, which normally he is pretty much immune to damage when using. Afflicting him with lightning like that is really good. You know, I really don't like this guy. Especially because his games I'm going to have to play through in this series. Because remember, this isn't just a NIOH series, this is a super canonical series that I'm doing over on my channel when I'm playing through this game. You know what, I'm just going to kill him with my lightsaber. If I don't die from a Xena drop burst. Hey, one of the skills we're looking for. See how oppressive he can be? If you let him do anything, he is going to capitalize on it and he's just going to kill you. But I have a lightsaber, so he can't do it. And he will drop the skills you're looking for. Be careful with this guy. He is oppressive. You have to oppress him before he oppresses you. Or his Kai will just never go down and he will constantly do damage to you thanks to his absurd abilities. He also has the most secret skills attached to him in the entire game. So we have to deal with this. Me and you. Use your best weapon you can. Don't use any ranged attacks. He usually just dodges those anyways. Alright, after that frustrating boss is over, and it comes to the end of this video. Sorry for that interruption once again in the middle of the video, but you know what? I feel like we've learned a lot this time. I feel like we have learned a lot from this video overall, especially the cat constantly meowing. Oh, here's another cat right here. A ninja cat. Perfect. I didn't know cats can even be ninjas. Hell, that's besides the point now. What is the point is, thank you everybody so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, as I will be doing probably the Omeo Mage build, the Omeo Mage guide next, then Ninjutsu, then Samurai, and then finally Yokai to top it all off, as all of them have secret hidden skills as well. Thank you everyone so much for watching. That is the Fist Guide. Final weapon. It's nice to finally be here, you know? Goodbye.